need that blue white bitch on Depop. She a little teapot, 2 left feet, them Reebok. Shawty did freelance, now she a free thought. Should've never let the bitch alone with my seat mods. Now the bitch skip hip, popping in my Reeboks. Talking about a detox, busy like a beatbox. All grown up, bitch, looking like Salite, not that booty. I need that blue white bitch on Depop. She a little teapot, 2 left feet, them Reebok. Shawty did freelance, now she a free thought. Should've never let the bitch alone with my seat mods. Now the bitch skip hip, popping in my Reeboks. Talking about a detox, busy like a beatbox. All grown up, bitch, looking like Salite, not that booty. I need that.
What's up, y'all? Yep, bright and early today. NFP, baby. Okay, let's get into this in a sec here. I'm going to show y'all a couple things. Let me just make sure I'm all squared up. But yeah, let me know in the chat what's up. How y'all feeling? What's the vibe? Morning, Joe. What's up, Dan? Seth, James. Justine. Oh, excuse me, I got the hiccups. Justina, Edwin. Hello, everyone. Sen, Ma, Corey, Patrick. Welcome, guys. All right, so that's all good. Let me close out a couple things. Is the stream starting an hour early tomorrow? Oh, that's an old chat, isn't it? Hold up. Pop-up chat. Boom. There we go. Okay, here we go. I had the wrong chat pulled up. All right, let's get into it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen, and we can dive right in. All right. It's an early one, so, I don't expect everyone to be on as usual. Man, yesterday we actually, on our syndicate session with all the, all the high performer members, we talked about how this was a little iffy in regards to the breaker structure. Like, it did have some demand, but considering we were trading against the majority of the trend, was a little hesitant on it. I didn't end up taking this. Considering where we were in the 4 hour, maybe that gave it a little bit more validation. But yeah, decided to opt out of it. And funny enough, it would have missed my entry anyways by a whopping, I think, 6 pips, maybe 4 pips. Yeah, either way, it's playing out pretty well right now. Maybe we have another opportunity, especially if we have some more demand up here. If we stay trading up here, I think we could get, kind of something in here. So I'll keep my eye on this. Definitely going to have an alert. But I'll dive into that. Right now we have in 5 minutes NFP. Definitely got some volatility. So let's just quickly, real quick, let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to the indices. Let's cut to the chase. All right, so we got Dow, we got NASDAQ, we got the whole gang here. Where are we at, guys? Where are we at right now? And I'm curious to see where we get to, because we are making some pretty awesome pullbacks. Right now we saw NASDAQ come back down to an imbalance from the 16th of July here, Asian session. I do think we still work our way further down. So I imagine today's going to be another pretty strong day where we dump. I think we can dump pretty hard today and then bounce. I think we're going to end up bouncing out of the 16th of July, these lows over here. Now, to give that more perspective, now this is from July, right? This is way different trading than Dow Jones. Dow Jones has already broken below this level, is already trading inside of a little order block that we have over here. So probably we get some more trading into maybe some more of this imbalance. However, there's a couple things that I want to keep in mind. as we're looking at price action today. We may not come down here today. This might happen at a different time, and here's why. So we want to think of a few things. When the market just crashed and dumped down, NASDAQ played into imbalance over here. So we cleared liquidity for a few days. Same thing with Dow. Dow Jones has officially cleared a high. This is where swing trading buys have stops here. This is getting below a 4-hour level. So getting below these zones, this is a high liquidity event. So when we see the market like this, now we're starting to view the market from a different lens, and I want to show you guys kind of how this breaks down on a higher time frame. So look at how on the 15-minute, right, we quickly dump down and then rally. Dow Jones, very similar. We got that spike down, and then the market pushes to the upside. So here, I'm looking at this from a completely different perspective. I want to see, do we end up getting some buys over here? And if so, who's the lucky winner between NASDAQ and Dow? Because they look pretty similar. NASDAQ's just been dropping less in general. It's been less bearish. But, we see during London a nice push to the downside here. So I'd say from like right there, we started to dump down. Clearly, the market doesn't want to stay trading over here. So we've seen everything come back up here. And then similar can be said with NASDAQ. NASDAQ makes its move to this side, and then now it's trading, well, at these levels. So if I were to make a choice here, and then same thing, S&P looks basically the same. So if I were to make a choice between the two, it's pretty tough. You kind of, it's hard to distinguish what's going to be, like they're both just trading at these highs. Maybe Dow slightly, just by a smidge, a little bit higher, but at the end of the day, what's been more bullish just in general has been NASDAQ. NASDAQ hasn't dumped anywhere near. For example, Dow is trading all the way basically down here, whereas NASDAQ is sustaining structure much, much better. So I'm leaning more into NASDAQ just because price action has been bullish. If you're uncertain, then you can split your risk and trade both. That's always an option as well. So yeah, I mean, you can approach it in whichever way you feel it makes more sense to you. In my case, yeah, I think I'm gonna go for NQ just because higher time frames we have been more bullish just in general. So look at that, just like that, it tagged it down very, very aggressively and quickly here. So at this point, your call, guys, how you approach this one. Mitigation playing out pretty well. It looks like Dow holding up better than NASDAQ if you look at how it's trading there. See that? Yeah, Dow's definitely holding up significantly better. So if you are able to kind of adapt extremely quickly, then you might be in position to let this one ride. So once this swept down to here, I made an in-time decision because, obviously this is so fast. I actually ended up taking Dow here, switching up the order, and then, having this thing go through. So we'll see what happens. So yeah, I did end up literally last second making a decision on Dow. I got an entry like right around here basically. And we'll see what happens. For all we know, NASDAQ can just hold up much better and then rally. What I want to get into, though, is the seconds time frame because this thing is definitely rallying quickly. And from the looks of it, looks like both are playing out pretty well. If you look at that right there. Okay, so at this point, if you did take this trade, remember it kind of sold off NASDAQ about 57 points. Here you see it pump just sort of under 40. Here, same thing. You start to see this thing crash about 80 points. We've already seen this rally So I think we're already seeing mitigation between these in general. So I wouldn't, keep holding this for too much longer. At least I wouldn't keep my stop here for too much longer. Tighten it up, whether you want to follow structure or whether you want to place it below the lows. If you got into this, it was so quick. If you didn't, I wouldn't even think too much about it. It was a lightning open. So where could this take us? Right now, we're currently trading against a lot of momentum. So I'm not necessarily looking for a gigantic setup here. I think the first target could be just playing into this imbalance and getting into London session. So this would be kind of my first area of interest, would be basically like in here, just like this range in general. And then you can actually zoom out a little bit more, and you'll notice here we had some support in the past. That's kind of why the market is rejecting over here once. I think we can get a little bit higher into some other reversal zones like we've seen in the past. So that 44,100 looks pretty decent. I think that could be a very interesting place for some positions. Right around here, my stops are already adjusted. So I'm chilling here. And then let's see if this holds up. At the same time, you see on the open of NFP, it actually poked right up, came right back down, and then made the move. So there's a chance that this wants to come back down. And if that's the case, we may end up getting maybe some sells too. So we'll see. Right now, obviously, I'm holding my buys. I just reduced my risk instead of keeping it to break even, because I do think there's a chance where we are getting some signs that if it is going to go, Dow was the right choice. Look at how it's trading right here, whereas NASDAQ's trading much lower. So we might just, if it is just going to rebalance and run, then we did make the right choice. If not, and it's just going to break lower, then, it is what it is. But now my risk has been cut significantly down. And I'm definitely okay with that. So I'd say like easy targets would just be clearing above NFP, clearing above this range. If the market's going to go higher, that's kind of what I could see happening. So immediately just kind of targeting above the zone. And I mean, that's 150 points or so. So for example, for me, I ended up risking about 60. So like a 2.5 R could play out here. Let's see if we're gonna get another rally, or if this is just gonna keep dumping. Like I said earlier, I'm already at peace at whatever the outcome is. The fact that we're able to already reduce risk on something like this is good. So let's see it all unfold. But yeah, I think just overall, whether it's I'm curious to see what happens, because the way in which this spikes down, if it does pump, it should give us another entry opportunity, because this could function as a liquidity sweep, as like a smart money sell-off. So if this does keep pushing, we don't need to catch this entire move necessarily. We don't know if it's going to be the swing low or anything like that. It's the beginning of the month, so I mean, there's a chance. But what I will add is, if this does decide to run and it clears this imbalance here is just a higher probability exit. And then it either creates and cements bullish structure, or it just clears liquidity and then wants to keep trading down. So that's like taking profit just within. I would just say like this area here in this inefficiency, this imbalance, this alone either functions as a liquidity capture or a, just creation of bullish structure. Either way, if it is bullish, I mean, could it keep running? Absolutely. But if it doesn't, then, we were still able to make the most out of this movement. And that is what makes sense to me. It's like we want to be able to just make the most out of those kinds of moves. Okay, so were you guys able to lock in on this trade? I know it happened fast. Like it was quick. Gold is moving. Okay. Let's see here. What's up, chat? What's good? Y'all in this? Y'all able to hold on to something like this or not? It was fast, so if you didn't, I wouldn't sweat it too much. G was approaching a sell zone, just chilling. Okay, cool. What's up, T.O.? Fuccini? Yeah, you're back. I thought I wasn't going to see you for a year or something. Okay, so we're doing okay. Market's trying to push. It looks like it's trying to break through. And what's kind of nice is NASDAQ and Dow, they're both kind of pushing. So whether you took one or the other, this is one of those really nice examples where they're kind of all just doing nice things here. So this works out in our favor as of right now. We like to see that. And with the way the market's moving, now what I've done is I've moved my stop to this low. So now I'm in a little bit of a better position in a worst case scenario, which is what I prepare for. I don't expect the worst case, but I do prepare for, the market turning around, the possibility of, the market not getting to where I would want it to get to. So always considering the fact that our projections can be wrong in general. Okay, so with that being said, if you are a portfolio and you're building positions with dog, I like these a lot. 3 cents, all right around these areas. Today will definitely be another dollar cost average day for me. Oh my God. Gold. Jesus. I'm not going to lie. This hurts a little bit. This one hurts a little bit, folks. Yeah, that would have been a nice one, huh? Oh, no. Waiting for a breakout the upside to get in on which one? Gold is moving, just chilling. Got in on S. Nice, Sarah. What's good? Took NQ, but I lagged, and my entry's complete shit. Yeah, it's like that sometimes. All right, so yeah, gold doing its thing. More than likely gonna look for this liquidity capture. This would be a great target. It's just where it's at right now, even just resistance, clearing that liquidity. Solid targets. I'm gonna place an alert here if we get to this imbalance. Over here, it's a great exit. High probability exits. And then same thing with NASDAQ. Like NASDAQ here, it would be, I think, just clearing not just these highs, but honestly, I'd say these highs. There's just a lot of range from London, but the London session high really actually comes back all the way up to here. So way more bullish. Not that the market needs to get to London session highs immediately. I don't think that's the case. It could, definitely. But because we kind of do have this little pump and then before it dumps right there. All right, so here you have it. Market right now getting right about to that zone. Dow definitely started to pull beyond NASDAQ, right? You can see Dow is trading like right over here relative to NASDAQ. So this is a great take profit zone. 150 points, easy. sitting right around 44,000. So if you wanted to take some profits, I think this is a great place for it. I think this is absolutely a great place for it. So yeah, I'm gonna close out the majority of my position right here. I'm gonna let a little bit ride, small amount, just kind of for the vibes. But 160 points locked in right there. And like I said, I do think since NASDAQ should probably clear a bit more liquidity here, we do have some imbalance. I think we can see the market push up a little higher. Like I mentioned, like it wouldn't shock me at all if we keep pushing a bit more. But this is just high probability exits. You don't, give back too much. If this happens to want to, lose momentum, then we still got something out of it. And then if it does stay, then there's also a chance we can get a new entry. So if we get more proof of structure, then it's solid. Okay, so I'm going to move over to the pound because gold right now, amazing. 600 pips from the low from London. Fire. And here we have the pound. So I'm going to go over a few ideas. So pound is about to get to the zone where I would want to short. Now let's look at a couple other things. Australians clearing these highs already. Great. We have CAD, Euro already blasting through those levels, which I was interested in. So check this out. GBP, boom. I'm going to place an alert exactly when it gets into the zone. And then this is playing out of FOMC right there. Okay, just quickly run through that. Euro, similar, but we didn't take that because it's lagging behind. The yen already played out of FOMC before, now trading into what looks like order blocks. New Zealand here hasn't necessarily, like FOMC was over here, then it made another high. Now it's pulling, it could pull into this zone. So this is where we had originally wanted to actually buy, and we got a mitigation, but it was bare minimum. And so we could have NZD pulling up into this zone as well. CHF pumping. And then that leads us to actually looking at metals. So if you look at metals overall, gold is going crazy. Silver doing its thing. FOMC was way up here. But those are kind of different relative to gold and everything. So, yeah, I like either going for NZD shorts, which looks like they need to climb up a little bit more, or looking for pound shorts as well. I will say I do think that, for example, this right here, which was like right before London session, NZD isn't quite over here. So if NZD was going to short, I feel like it'll keep going higher. To me, it seems like the dollar can go a little bit more, and I'm kind of leaning more towards shorting NZD. Like, the setup, it looks great on pound. FOMC, taking the short. But look at how we have some more imbalance over here. So what if the market actually wants to get to here on the pound? And then if you look at NZD, it's kind of lagging behind. So in my opinion, based on my strategy, my last confirmation is divergence. And if I'm going to follow that to a T, then that's telling me, oh, my bad. That's telling me to wait. Here is Fibonacci if you guys want to see kind of the retracement. Almost at a 786 pullback. Meanwhile, the pound here is sitting at almost an 886. So in terms of just structure, NZD does look a little bit better for opportunities. And then if we wanted to, like if I wanted to see, contracts wise, what I'm looking to do here with 6N, and I'll just give you guys the contracts that I would use. So depending on your risk, obviously it's going to make a huge difference. Everyone risks differently. And then, and also depending on the account, you might not even be able to take a trade. But for me, for example, if I'm going to do a $400 risk up here, I'm doing about 3 contracts. So that's how you can kind of compare to your own trading and your own projections, and what that might look for you. Like I said, that's what it would look like for me. So let me post an alert right here. Once it hits this, basically, as soon as it just cracks above this, I'm in there. Either it's a limit or not. 59.33 is what I'm looking at there. Yeah, we're about to get there. Getting pretty close. Look at that. And honestly, the pound might still play out because it's already chilling up here. So this might actually play out decent. Yeah, wow. CHF gunning. The yen doing its thing. Looks like it could clear that here soon. Euro making moves, trading to the upper levels of this as well. Canadian here trading into right around that FOMC as well. And then that leads us to Australia, that just cleared out these highs. So, yeah, I think overall it looks like we're pretty close. It kind of seems like pound wants to slow down. So I wonder if these both would play out anyways. Okay, in the meantime, while that's doing its thing, let's pull up indices again. Let's get a new fresh take. So exits here were solid. Very solid. At least as of right now, look like a really good idea. If we look at how NASDAQ and how Dow are starting to play out, NASDAQ especially, NASDAQ is showing us that it was just the liquidity capture. Look at that. It just pushed up to here and then lost momentum right away. This is not giving me confidence for longs anymore at all. If anything, this is kind of showing us signs that the market's probably gonna want to keep going down. So mitigation, check. This was successful right here. So great. This did its thing. Took my profits here. This trade basically ended up being something like this, and then saw this thing do its thing, got like a 2.5 out of it. Love that. Great. And let's see how it unfolds. If anything, I think both overall look like they'll be pushing to the downside. Price action in the moment, though, does look more like NASDAQ is going to be the bear, or is starting to be the bear for the session. So let's see. We might end up having a sell over here. All right, we just might end up having sells over in this zone. Right now, it's not confirmed. Todavía no confirmo para vender, pero hay potencial aquí definitivamente. Yeah, wouldn't buy this. No chance. Yes, there's imbalance here, but Dow is still way up here. And then judging by how fast it went up and back down, definitely chilling. All right, 6N still not quite up there. All right, so 150 points. Let's go, guys. Who got something out of that? Bro, for me, it's always the ones you say no to. What does that mean exactly? Like you... What do you mean? Hey, Mike, on Top Step, do you have to pay for split screen? No? You can just check it out. It's right there. Gold brought me back from the grave. Let's go, Ruben. Hola, Edgar, ¿qué tal? I hit reduced risk. Okay. My exit on NAS is 23,217. Is it possible to close partial with Top Step? Yeah, you just close less contracts. So let's say you bought with 10 contracts and then you wanted to take partials. You would just sell 5 contracts or 3 contracts or 1 contract. Yeah, so we would just sell less than what you have. Buenos días, ¿qué tal, Daniel? ¿Cómo estás? James, what did you say? Which one? The ones you say no to? Oh, like, was that talking about yesterday's gold? I'm feeling like Stanley in a hole. Oh, okay. So, chilling on this. Patient with this one. Yeah, so I have a short here. I'm being pretty, like, conservative with the entry, too. It's, like, basically almost in the open. It could go a little higher. And then this is where we've seen quite a bit of support in the past. So if we get a reversal, I think this is kind of my exit would be right around this area. Yeah, like right around here. Could it go lower? For sure. And let me zoom out real quick on this just to give you guys perspective. The reason I'm not looking to take this too far is because the way I see it come down and back up, I'm not fully convinced that this was for lower lows, just because we kind of came down but then right back up relatively. So I am treating this with some caution. Just more focus on the high probability of it all. Okay. So let's focus on a couple things here. All right, so for my metals traders, seeing this thing just go move, just saw it clear liquidity. So like I said, this is great areas for exits, guys. I don't necessarily think you have to hold forever with this trade. Like if you did take it, your risk was maybe 100, 125 pips or something, and then this is a fantastic run. You're looking at like 5R, 6R at this point. So yeah, I mean, that's solid. Okay, see NZD about to get to the zone, real close. Meanwhile, you see GBP getting closer and closer. So despite this one looking attractive, just relative to NZD, I do think this is, in my opinion, a better opportunity. Okay, so that's that. Silver is an interesting play because silver here is starting to approach where we saw a pump and then a short. I'm not looking to trade anything with metals right now. Like that 6N is already like a dollar-based setup. So yeah, I'm not really leaning on adding more dollar-based trades in there. Shout out to you guys. And hey, this one I think this is a great idea because we did have oil play out of this zone. And I know that Corey, Seth, a few of you took this one, and I talked about conservative exits trading into this imbalance. So hopefully you guys did that, and then it came back. So this, in my opinion, is liquidity. There's definitely motive for price to come back down for sure. I don't really have an entry for sells. Like, I kind of would get it, I guess, if someone wants to sell over here. This is a target, so I would need more clarity to take a position, but that's me for oil. Yeah, I'm kind of hanging out. Bitcoin, after that bounce out of that zone from the other day, where we saw a really nice movement there, we're working on, these lower zones. We don't really have an order block. It hasn't played out of this zone yet, so I think there's probably a decent chance, to be honest. So alerts are going to be set. I'm curious to see how the market plays out of here with Bitcoin. Let's see. I've kind of ignored the peso for a little bit. Was waiting to see more from it here. The short's going to be awesome. We do see a nice sweep to the upside before it dropped, so I wonder... what do you guys think about this? A trade out of here? How do we like this? We'll be clearing quite a bit of liquidity, taking out FOMC, and then playing into Wednesday's London session. That could be interesting. And then getting some reversals. So this is kind of like NZD right now. So, I mean, trading the peso is still trading dollar peso, so you are trading against the dollar. So really focusing on one idea against the dollar, for me, makes the most sense instead of, doubling down on a whole bunch of things. But take a look at this. So, interestingly enough, now the pound is starting to short before. Look at that. So we're seeing pretty bearish price action there. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Technically, we still have NZD below a 786 pullback, and then the pound is still trading above. So I still prefer NZD. But GDP is starting to give some good signs right now. Okay, so check this out, guys. Update with indices. Still pushing down. There we go. So we definitely are seeing, in my opinion. Okay, here we go. All right, so I'm triggered in now with NZD active for me. Let's see how this goes. And I mean, both can work out. Like I said, GVP could also still short from here. It's not a terrible setup. Like, they're basically the same. Between 786, 886, between 786, 886. I mean, yeah, they're practically like borderline identical. So the only thing is that the push here was about, 25 pips or something. And then we kind of already just got that. I don't know if that'll make a difference or not. Yeah, we're still shorting huge. So I'd say up to you. Current price action is, they should be moving relatively similar. And we'll kind of find out which one it was. But leading up to this moment until the very, very end, it all still looks like NZD could play out. So Either way, since we're going into New York session here, it's the dollar that's going to influence this more than anything. So we'll see. And if you're like still in between one or the other, I mean, you could split your risk and use half your risk on NZD, use half your risk on the pound. Just remember, when you are trading the pound, it does take up more margin. Quick take here on indices. Nasdaq takes out the highs, so this is a liquidity capture for sure. It comes back down. You know, we're trading down here right now. I'm curious if we keep trading down here, then I'd rather look for sells. So I'm gonna wait, and I kind of want to get more. I want to see price trade low. All right, guys, starting to see a good reversal. Look at that, pound dropping, NZD dropping. You know, 4 or 5 pips in profit, nothing crazy. The stop is pretty small. I only have 13.5 pips as a stop loss, so keeping it pretty mellow. And then if you were taking the pound, it looks like it would maybe 20 something pips as well. So we'll see. But yeah, GBP dropping nice. NZD, you know, lightly. It looks like there's a bit more volatility with GBP though. All right, good stuff. As of right now, I mean, both these setups are pretty textbook. Anyone take NGD with me? It seems always the trades you don't take. What does that? What seems like that? You're not really fully. I don't really understand what you're saying. I took Dow. That one played out just now, and then we're taking NZD and or pound, and these are also both playing out right now. But yeah, sometimes it's like that. But that's the privilege of trading. You don't have to catch them all. Yeah, for me, it's about what's duplicatable and not what feels good. I mean, that just goes to show intuition's pretty damn good. But having that mindset of like, I need every move. If I just traded everything, would it still work out? Maybe, but it's, for me at least, all about evidence-based opportunities. Like evidence, if I have a green light. And then what's cool is the ones that I'm like, I kind of feel it, kind of don't. I'm okay with not taking it. If I have enough proof that works for me, that particular type of idea is, functioning consistently. If I have enough proof, then I can add that to the list. The thing is that, and this is pretty often, but a lot of times we just remember what the recent stuff, and then we take that as something that long-term works, when that's definitely not always the case. When would you recommend break even for GBP, or where rather? So, I mean, this trade, in my opinion, already mitigated. So we saw a 24 pip move. This has already done its thing, minimum. So at least reduce risk. I would reduce my risk if I was taking something like this. I would have my stop here, because to me, this already did the move, the minimum. And could it keep going? Absolutely. But it already did like what I would say the market, I guess, the exchange of money from the buys here. So we have the buys. I guess this starts right there, but the buys to the sells. So we already kind of saw that. So if I was in pound, I would move my stop at least to here, depending on your entry. I mean, it's your own choice. With NZD, we saw, right, here's an example of where the volume comes up. So you see 14 and a half pips. The market right now, it just dropped down to here, about 9 pips or so. So for me, we haven't mitigated yet. I haven't moved my stop. I'm just taking, that's it. I'm still the same. So if it keeps playing out, we'll see. Right now, I'm just letting it run. We still have, remember, today there's still New York Open, which could influence dollar movement. And then we have a news event. We have ISM at 9 a.m. as well. So there's still a little bit more excuses for volatility here, for sure. Now, you see how we just pulled back? If we then come back down and trade lower, I would start to, tighten up my stop a bit more as well, following along price action. I think we're getting more and more evidence for possible sells on NASDAQ. I know we're already so low. Like, we're already trading so low. But this failed. This is a failed run to the upside. This was an intentional sweep of retail sellers. And I think this is looks like we're getting more and more proof that we could see shorts out of there. All right, let me pull up the chat here. What you guys got for me? Buenos días, ¿qué tal, Juan? ¿También haces sesiones operativas en español? Realmente no mucho. Si me preguntan aquí, yo les doy la traducción, pero no. Pero es para estos índices que se operan, ¿cuál sería un buen broker en Colombia? Nasdaq, pues son los índices de Estados Unidos. Entonces, en Colombia, pues simplemente tienes que ver qué tipo de brokers son buenos. Por lo que yo entiendo, siempre he visto que Pepperstone como que tiene buena reputación por ahí. Lo que quiero que definitivamente hagan es que no se enfoquen en brokers nuevos que están promocionando, influencers. Literalmente vean, hay historial, pueden verlos, pero yo sé si en el pasado mucha gente ha utilizado Pepperstone, Oanda, cosas así. Yo no tengo afiliación con ninguno, entonces no tengo incentivo de decirles pues algo mal. Gold? What about gold, Vincent? Gold right now is just cooking. Eventually, it would be nice if we come back here and get another buy opportunity, but right now we are definitely chilling, waiting. That got nothing to do with gold at the moment. So honestly, pretty mellow. Like right now, we're just gonna sit here and really not do much. In the meantime, what I'm gonna focus on, because right now we just have NZD trade running. Some of you, I think, have a pound trade running. I only traded NZD, and then I think we do have potential on shorting NQ. But that might be off of New York Open. I kind of want to see just what the next 20 minutes look like. I'm gonna chill. Just stay pretty chill there. While we're doing all that, while we're chilling, I'm gonna take a look at a couple. I'm gonna give you guys a couple ideas. I had a really interesting setup show up for me. Here, where is it? There we go. Right, so Ferrari came into one of my zones. Gotta trade Ferrari to get the Ferrari. So it tapped into this imbalance way down here. Actually got a pretty decent bounce out of here. But I think we can get down into imbalances. Looks like this looks like it might gap down to here. So let's see that. Pre-market, morning market is open for pre-market. It'll open in 17 minutes. So it looks like we're gonna get another gap down. And yeah, from here, also guys, NZD, a little bit of drawdown now. Trading up to that 886. For me, like I mentioned, I'm still in this. I haven't adjusted anything. So if we do get another move down, then now I would need a 14 pip drop from there. So like something like this. I'm trading kind of over here. See what happens. Risk has already been accounted for. We're all set in stone here. Okay. So yeah, like I'm saying, I do like opportunities with Ferrari. I think trading, I'm starting to dollar cost average in basically under 430. So 425, maybe even 410. And then, yeah, have this thing go crazy. But it's been a good ride. Honestly, there is a chance this doesn't have to stay up here, though. So I want to see what this looks like what kind of bounce we get, because worst case, we might distribute with Ferrari, and maybe we end up playing down to way lower levels, 350, etc. So with this stock in particular, I do want to see what kind of bounce we get, because we didn't necessarily, I don't love the higher high that we saw here. This got above briefly before it dropped. So yeah, I'm basically just very aware. So let's see what this looks like. If we get a good bounce and we stay up here, then that's cool. I am going to be taking some profits here, but yeah, we are starting to see NZD, kind of dip back down around entry. Let's see. GVP holding it down too. Yeah, GVP. Honestly, GVP looking good. Like, for example, we had NZD go and make a higher high, while GVP is staying within the structure pretty well. So, looks like a GVP setup. And that one might end up playing out. All right. So, yeah, Ferrari. I like the move. Weeble here still at good areas for buys, in my opinion. Like I'm saying, under 14 and change is good. The lower the better. Scaling into, I picked up some more ENPH on the solar side of things. So scooping up more and more there. Man, meta gapped like crazy yesterday. Boom. I'm out of any meta positions as well. I think Microsoft crossed like 4 trillion market cap. Fucking nuts. And then all right, that's on the stock side of stuff. Still have my Nike positions. Scaling into more Intel positions as well. And then still holding, let's see, getting close to taking a position on Spotify. I want to see us under 600. All right, but that's a couple things. I'll update my stocks list later. And then with crypto, yeah, they took a hit in general. So I'm starting to get a little bit of a bounce. But overall, I mean, pretty decent discounts. Dogging this imbalance is fire. So I do like the buys over here. They are fantastic. Yeah. So this is solid. There is always a chance we can get down to here. We'll see. Either way, for me, I'm way thinking beyond this. Like this I think we go easy 15, 20, 30x with this, kind of no problem. So I'm just scooping. I ain't thinking twice. Okay. Let's bring it back to hold on, let me check the chat real quick. I don't know if you guys have any questions. I'm in NZD now. I'm glad I was able to stick to my plan and not get in early. Nice, bro. Still, the GBP could go past the low since odd USD hasn't been mitigated. Hi, Mike. What's up, Kevin? Here, drop it in here. If you guys have charts, just make your post in here, and then let's see it. What's up, Daniel? ¿Cómo estás? Mauricio, I don't know if you're on this right now. Estás por aquí. GJ. 4 hour. Nice. Yeah, this will probably get a good bounce. Creo que te puede dar esta. Se puede dar. All right, I'm gonna here all the new posts. So drop your posts, guys. If you want me to look at your charts, drop your post in the chat. GBP go past the low since odd hasn't mitigated. Let's see. Odd hasn't mitigated what exactly? I wanted to buy Australian, but not the case. I mean, AUD drops 55 pips, and then this popped off, man. Huge mitigation. This definitely mitigated, for sure. Australian, pretty rebalanced as well. Canadian futures here also into imbalances. Euro. Ooh, look at that. Oh my God. Yen. That yen trade is a beaut. This is I'm pretty sure this is a Michael. This is a Michael trade. For sure. I can almost guarantee it. I'm pretty sure this is his chart. I don't think this is definitely doesn't look like my setup. So, Michael, are you on right now? The buy setup from yesterday? Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I think we definitely mitigated from yesterday's buy. Dude, this yen short is nice. Fire. All right, NZD, okay. Gonna give us something. Showing us some love again. Welcome back. Oh, wow. Yeah, what a move. And this is why I tell you guys, like, it's a huge chessboard. This whole thing is just a huge chessboard. Like, the market, everything kept going. Finally, yen was able to play out of this little zone. This was the setup right here. Little sweep, and then it dropped. The market perfectly came into that area in alignment with other majors. Yeah, pretty sweet. Same thing with the Swiss franc. So all the pieces coming together, at least so far. I think, to me, since we haven't mitigated here fully, and we kind of have like this. It's like it's kind of like curving out like this. Looks like this is a form of liquidity. So, yeah, I still think we can go down a bit more. Okay, and this was this trade already. So we got our 2.5. NQ trading down. Not too bearish though. So I want to, yeah, I mean, I'm going to stay diligent here. We'll see how it works our way back because this could go either way. Whether it's going to be NZD or NASDAQ or it's going to be Dow, I definitely can see us shorting in here. Market clears the highs, comes down. It's been staying down here. NASDAQ's NASDAQ's shown more consistent signs. In reality, it starts over here, but I do think we can see it a little bit higher, like right in there for a short. But yeah, I mean, we got New York open here in 7 minutes. Got some healthy movement here. Some nice 1 minute price action. NZD playing out well. Yep. Oh, out of all of them, it looks like NZD's giving us the structure that we needed. Perfect. Yeah, look at how we're seeing now NASDAQ trade down here. Se mantiene bajista. El mercado esto atrapa compradores y cae. And then we also have liquidity right here. So important to notice this. Alright, let me see if you guys dropped any charts. Nobody? Y'all a little shy today, huh? What's going on? What's up, Kevin? What's good, bro? How you doing? Were you, did you get to catch those gold longs with NFP? How'd it go for you? Mr. Gold himself. Let's see. Oh, you texted me. Ah, haha. Nice, bro. Locked out. I see you. Okay. Good stuff, man. All right. NZD slowly but surely, folks. And, all right, so we are getting more and more proof for bearish confirmation for NASDAQ, for this being the liquidity. So, yeah, I'm going to looking for shorts right here. This is going to be my sell. Right there. Oh, I just remembered I am in gold longs on my CFDs account. Yo. Epic. Sick. Huh. I totally forgot. Amazing. Here we go. 1 second, guys. All right, just had to manage that real quick. Take some profits off for sure. Close that one. Beautiful. All right, there we go. Sick. Okay, we're about 3.5 minutes out, guys, from New York Open. I am leaning more on NAS, so ready for this one. And then the London low, definitely going to be a target for me. Okay, it looks like GBP creating some liquidity. So I wonder if we clear this, and then that's when NZD wants to make that next leg down. But yeah, a lot of liquidity right here, guys. That another spike down, and that's when I will move my stop to. I'll tighten my stop to break even. If it gives us the move down, obviously. No guarantees. He did send you that chart, huh? Savage. Yeah, I figured that one hit for him. What's up, Tim? Okay, Seth, Machiavelli, Mont. Too much going on, LOL. What's going on? How can I make this easier for you right now? We can slow it down. We can simplify things here. We have time. We're chilling here, so we got indices, potential. NZD is already running, right? So this is already, we don't have to do anything here. This is just chilling. We have alerts set up if it clears the low so that we can reduce risk or go to break even. So that hasn't happened yet. So that's pretty much there. Just let that thing chill. And then we have NASDAQ. So we have NZD and NASDAQ. And here we're just waiting to see what the market wants to give us. There's always a chance that it might be the yen, or it might be the YM. Swear. Fumbling on my words today. And then if it is Dow kind of already played out of here. So I would say maybe we get something like this. If Dow is going to be the one to give us an opportunity. And then getting below, and if this NFP open would be kind of my original target here. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We're 1 minute out, folks. Alerts are set. We're ready to see how it rolls. All right, market's starting to push. Let's see how it goes. Dow already pushing higher. We're seeing NASDAQ start to push higher. About 15 seconds away from the open. Wouldn't be surprised if we get a nice little spike up there. Let's see here. All right, open. Ooh, right down first. Okay. All right. What's it going to be? What's it going to be? Race. Okay, so Ferrari gap down. Great. We'll look at that later. That's not too time sensitive. Okay. So no immediate action. Like nothing we need to do right now. NASDAQ spiked up and down. Dow doing something similar. So what we might end up getting is maybe we end up seeing more bearish confirmation, and then we end up seeing the play out of here later. What we can do now, though, is kind of zoom out again and focus on what the next area could be. So with NASDAQ here, since it's been much more bullish, what I would want to go do is I would want to see what's going on over here. Like what's good over there. So let's see where the next, if we were to get a long, where would that be? So where would we see a setup here? It looks to me Like we had a huge spike down here. The market rallied. There's another spike down and then the market runs. So maybe we see a bounce out of here first. Can't promise and say how far that would get. But then this is really where I think we get the next buy. There's this spike down and the imbalance. So right in here is where I would say it would be kind of like the absolute extreme low that we could get in this 4-hour structure. Sell off, rally, imbalance play. Yeah. So let me go ahead and here we go. Just kind of want to give these examples. Let's see if we can get there. Okay. Now let's go to the present. And I'm going to place an alert right there. Once we get to that zone, and then I already have an alert right here. In this area, we've seen a lot of reversals around here, like 22,900 pretty constantly. 22,885. Obviously, there's even lower, but yeah. So if we look at more immediate price action, we're getting below the lows now. Great. Where does this take us with Dow? If you guys take a look at Dow Jones here, way lower. I'd say Dow, the next thing it's really doing right here is kind of trading into, there's a little bit of an order block, a little bit of traction right there. Okay. Let's see. So, I mean, Dow, more than anything, looks like it's going to want to fill a lot of this imbalance. NQ gives us a lot more, like, structure at the moment. Now, remember, guys, if you're new or newer to understanding, the psychology of how the market is orchestrated, right? How buy orders, sell orders are basically manufactured, how liquidity is created, then make sure you're paying attention and you're, learning in the classroom. We have on not just the basics of it, but of trading in general, but how to build a system, how to understand smart money principles, and all that good stuff. Now, we just tagged into this zone where the market could reverse with NASDAQ. We're playing into those higher time frames. I'm not going to trade this one, I don't think. And this might be for James. I don't know what James was on there, but he's like, yeah, the ones that you don't take are the ones that work. The ones that I mark up and I'm like, I'm not feeling them. It could play out. These are ones that you can trade with less risk. Since there's just a higher extreme zone, that's why I'm kind of a bit more focused on this one down here. Like, I would just rather trade that. But this could give a decent bounce. I just don't know how far it's going to give us the bounce. So if you wanted to take the trade, like I said, I don't think it's a terrible idea. And transparently, since I was moving around and switching up charts and all that, I wasn't able to take the position right away. The drop down here is about 43 points, so a reversal we would imagine would be about the same. But here's the difference too: is NASDAQ is just more bearish. Look at how Dow is kind of slower and going down. So yeah, I mean, I'd say it's I would say maybe a lower risk idea to take, if anything. But like I'm saying, the fact that Dow is holding structure much better, it's not a ton of confidence that I get behind a trade like this one right now. Yeah, not at the moment. NZD right now back in drawdown. So if those of you that are holding that, a little bit of drawdown there, nothing crazy. Now we saw the pound spike up like I talked about before. And then we can see how NZD followed along similarly. Also, for those of you here, we did get the good spike out of here. So I did take just a light risk on this one. So let's see where this brings us to. I already moved my stop to break even as well. So this is a trade I'm not really looking to give tons of breathing room or anything like that. Like, took a small risk. This followed our mitigation rule. So, and remember, look, we're literally timing entries from July 16th. So this is no coincidence. Obviously, you guys see us do this all the fucking time. So light risk here, break even trade already. If it runs, it runs. Great. And then here's what I want to focus on is look at Dow. So look at these. Remember, we're still, at the end of the day, the shorts are really the bigger focus for me. And I'm curious to see what do we get. Like, are we going to get NASDAQ that sells out of this buy, this sweep of liquidity? Or are we going to get Dow that trades into here? And here's something else to consider. When we had New York open right there, does this mitigate the buy? Or does this create more liquidity? What do you guys think? Hey, check it out. NZD back in profit. I don't love this, though. This I do not love very much. Equal highs right here. Let me take off some of the saturation on this one. All right. So still stands. I think we can still see the sweep of this here. You guys can tell, like, retail would be buying up here. So breaking through would liquidate retail orders, retail buys, and then at least to this imbalance, and then that would allow us to go at least break even or reduce your risk significantly. Okay, and then just like that, this is why I went break even. I didn't really trust this bounce too much. Now I do like this trade here, though. Much better. Right down here. This is the one that I'm looking for. Right over here. So honestly, from 22,900 and below, quality entries over here. This for me is the real play. Right over here. And then that would be basically playing out of the extremes of this zone. Higher highs, higher lows. Market absolutely rips from here. Here's where we just had tons of accumulation. So if this doesn't hold up, I don't know, obviously selling in these zones also are going to make a lot of sense, but where we can get pretty big reversals is going to be out of this area. If you look at just some key 4-hour reversal zones, right around here is pretty consistent. 22,890, 22,885, 22,887. So, yeah, this is kind of the zone. And then that might take us up to this mitigation right there. 3.4, pretty decent. And then if we bring that with Dow, Dow's trading over here already. So if we zoom out even more, Dow is way lower than this. Look at this. Give you guys huge perspective. Dow is trading over here. So Dow is like as if NASDAQ was over here. That's why NQ is a higher time frame, a better play. Okay. And then NZD, guys, dropping. Boom. 6N. Let's get it. So 6N NZD here officially mitigated, clearing liquidity, getting into imbalance. May or may not want to reject out of this level. So at this point now, if it's your plan, I guess like you could be looking for taking profit. For me, a 1R is not it at all. I definitely do not trade for a one risk reward. I mean, our win rate is profitable with a 1R, but with everything else that we have here lined up, I do think we could get more out of it. But now for sure I can reduce risk. And then now this isn't a full risk setup anymore, which is great. This actually drops down significantly. And so how can you approach a setup like this? There's a couple ways. Either you reduce your stop, and then instead of having a 13.5 pip stop, you have a 4.5 pip stop. So you cut your risk by 2/3. Or if you're like, you know what, this trade, it's not worth for me to even lose anything, I would rather go to risk free. And then if I get tagged out, then I get tagged out, and that's fine. So I'd say it's definitely you can find data to support either side. It's going to be up to your preference. So, all right, NZD, the journey continues there. And then NASDAQ. What's up, Nas? All right, so we're about to get to NASDAQ territory here. Now, here's where you're probably thinking, okay, what does my contract size look like? You know, what should I be doing here? So I'm going to tell you kind of what my contract size looks like, and then you guys can go ahead and, I guess, trade this as you'd like to. Yeah, so for me, with this kind of trade, like, yeah, it's a bigger stop for sure. So I'm trading, just double checking here, 2, 3 contracts, 5 contracts. Let's see. So let's say $400 risk. Yeah. All right. So $400 risk for me would be like 3.5 contracts with what we have here. So, you know, up to you on where you're at with that. So right now, trade is active. This bad boy's running. So what does this look like? So this sold off for about 75, 76 points. So if the market rips from here basically trading back into this previous level, like right around there, then that's when I move my stops. Right now, currently trading near a little bit above entry. So we're at my entry is right here. Yeah, my entry is a little bit under 22,900. New Zealand trading nicely. All right. Officially, we're at about 20, 25 points in profit on NASDAQ, mitigating right now, seeing a pretty good movement. So, yeah. So if we just need a little bit more out of here to make a better run for this one. Okay. So, a little bit of drawdown now. All right. Dow kind of playing into this zone. So, I feel like we could get the reversal here soon. You remember, your risk stays the same. So, like, if you're always risking $100, then this trade should still be $100 risk, even though it's a bigger stop than usual. You know, in this case, I had like a little under a 60, like right around a 60-point stop. Still should be the same risk. If you're risking $300 usually, but it's a bigger stop, then your contract size goes down or your lot size goes down. So it's all good there. Right now, NGD is moving along really well, filling a lot of this imbalance. So could we see a bounce out of here? Maybe. And it's playing out of, previous structure a little bit. Right now, this trade on NZD has gone over a 1R, 1.3 at max. Not enough for me to take profit. But if we're talking just probability-wise, this is a high probability exit because this is where the market, since it could rebalance, it totally could reverse from here. So this is why now I'm running risk-free on this trade because we've gotten a pretty good amount. My overall exit is trading further down where we've seen some support and resistance here. Meanwhile, so let that do its thing. Currently, we're seeing NQ a little bit of drawdown as well. And this is, at the moment, about 35 points out from my stop. So, yeah, let's see if this is going to be enough here. So we had a little bit of on the 1 hour, you see an order block. I wonder if it wants to come further down into like previous structure. But we shall see. Remember, at the end of the day, this is 1R risk. Keep that in mind. It's just one risk. So even then, you have NTD running above 1 reward right now. We had a 2.5 risk reward profit with Dow earlier as well. So things are, it's been a great session. Really great session so far. If you've been here since before NFP gave us 2.5R profit. We saw right now NZD is running over a 1 risk reward profit as well. And then let's see what NASDAQ wants to do. Now for NASDAQ to be, and remember we have dollar news, guys, in a little under 9 minutes. So that dollar news might be quite the banger. As of now, if this is going to be the low, then I do want to see the market bounce up until right around this area, like 22.9, 30, 35-ish. What is a good sign is look at how NASDAQ is holding up pretty well while Dow is still kind of pretty bearish. Like it's just still dropping. Very little movement here. All right, now we're back in profit. Good stuff. I see people passing the futures firm challenges with this technique pretty often. With what technique? I'm new here. Did anyone actually make money using these strategies? I'm interested in day trade, but I'd like to know whether these strategies are actually profitable or not. For sure, my G. Don't believe me off my words. One, I've been doing this for 10 years, and you guys see me trade live all of the time. And then two, since I know it's pretty normal, because there's a lot of bad players out here, this is all free. So you guys can jump in here totally for free. So you can literally learn all of it for free and then just show up for free. So, yeah, there you go. All right, so here we go. Free community and resources. At the end of the day, guys, it's not the strategy alone doesn't make you profitable. You need to be able to master your discipline over actually following it. There's so many ways that you can trade that can work. It doesn't have to be this way by any means. This one is definitely proven to be profitable, especially considering that this week alone, our members of the syndicate, we had 5 people already get funded just this week. So for sure, but at the end of the day, and this is why I teach a lot on psychology, at the end of the day, everything can work out in paper, but if you get in your own way because of a winning streak, of a losing streak, you're risking too much. You're focused on, your own projections on when you should be making money. A lot of those things are going to get in the way. So as much as you should work on the quality of your entries, your exits, for example, like we sniped this trade here, right? So for example, here's an example. We had a great entry here, quality entry on NFP, and an exit into the imbalance. So, pretty damn good entry, pretty damn good exits. Because it's not just about the getting into, it's about getting out and the reason behind why you get out. So cool, 2.5 R, fantastic. From there, we then took NZD. NZD today, and this is all live, and you can go watch all the live streams. Count them up, you'll see it. From there, we took NZD. Currently, NZD is running 1.4, almost 1.5 R, right? That's not my target. I'm looking for a bit more. But either way, that puts us at 4 R on the day. Now, right now, we are in drawdown on NASDAQ. And that's the cool thing. This trade could lose, and we're still up on the day. But even if that were to happen, here's how things go wrong. Remember, guys, you could hit a winner, and then you can build a bias around something. So, for example, like with NZD, let's say this one, we just had a win, and then this one's in profit. So great. Now we're feeling good. Oh, yeah, I'm profitable. I'm killing it. And then, for example, I took a small risk trade on this one. It bounced up. I went break even because that's our trade management rule. And then it came down and then took me out at break even. A lot of traders, what they do is they want to believe that they're always right, so that they buy again, and then they buy again, and then they buy again, and then they buy again. And it's not that the strategy doesn't work. It's that they stop trading what works, and they just start trading their feelings. So at the end of the day, and I don't even know if this guy's still on this stream. He might have dipped out already. But at the end of the day, more focus should go on how much you have mastery over yourself rather than just the technique alone. That's just my take there. Guys, we're less than 4 minutes away from dollar news, so we'll definitely get some volatility going. Like I mentioned, the dollar news, that can either bring this back up and rebalance, or it's going to help us break through and get into the zone. And nothing that we do is guaranteed. Remember, this isn't trading is not a game of guarantees. It's all about probabilities. and then we cover our probabilities as well. So that's what we want to make sure we're doing. So even then here, right, and you guys know I usually take actually a little bit more of a deeper retracement. And what we did do is we actually ended up playing into these last point of supplies over here. But Samir, yeah, man. So if I were you, I would check it out. I don't know how advanced you are in your trading. If you're pretty new to everything, then go to the Trader's Launchpad and then hit the Smart Money Playbook. These will give you from like 0, and this is all free. So like, hey, what the markets are, what kind of tools you can use, risk reward, some psychology, and then taking your first trade. And then from there, Smart Money Playbook. This will not just teach you like technicals, but also how to build the system. Yeah, and obviously this is all free, and I trade here every day. All right, 2 minutes, guys, till news event here. I feel like this news event is going to give us at least an initial pump, but I will say we want to be pretty diligent with our stops. So if we do get a nice rally, adjust stops relatively quickly. That's how at least I'm going to treat this one. So let's see if this news event gets us back up into some, into this imbalance over here. There's no guarantees it stays up here. So if we get the pump, then I'm going to tighten my stop to here. And then I have my other computer, so on this other side where I'm managing the trade. But yeah, that'll happen after the fact. So let's see. Good news is we did choose the right asset class by trading NASDAQ over Dow. We're seeing Dow still bearish while NQ is still giving us higher lows. And then because of the nature of this news event, right, this is just a forecast. So it'll just show us the basically purchasing on manufacturing. So the way we go about this, what the actual number isn't as important because it's all really just about narratives. So it's it's just like, oh, here's the excuse for money to come into the market, for liquidity to enter the game. And that's all that really is. So make sure, guys, right now, if you have risk on the table, if you haven't committed to your risk, you still have a chance to, if you over leverage, this could either go well or it can go bad. So right now you can decide if you've fully committed to the risk and if that's a healthy, sustainable risk. So, just saying, in case you've made poor decisions, you have a chance to unfuck yourself. So let's see how this news comes along, and let's see what we get. All right, a little spike down, and then let's see what we look like. Will we survive is the question here, or is this going to be our first loss of the day? So spike down. All right, it's getting eaten up a little bit. Got a random CAD CHF alert going off. NZD is coming up a bit, so let's see. And I'm stopped out. Oh, not quite. Close, though. Very, 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 very close. Yeah, now I'm stopped out. Okay, cool. So NQ breaking below. Looks like we just didn't have enough on here. And honestly, not totally surprised, since we had Dow, I think, that wanted to get into this structure. If you are going to look for a long, then I would say NQ still makes sense, but you want to have perspective. You want to have actual confirmation. What you don't want to do is go and trade because you want to make something back. So you want to trade something that is just quality. So going back to this area here, we saw a sell-off. This is the 14th of July, and then the market ripped. So can we get back into this zone? This is another area where we could see reversals from, which is this zone right here. We did already spike into this, it looks like. So actually, never mind. Yeah, I'm not going to look to do much here. unless we start to get just more confirmation. So dollar news did its thing. NASDAQ played a little bit lower. Took a minus 1R on this setup. And maybe we break below these lows here. And then now we'd be clearing some significant levels of support. If we get below this, then our second entry model, which is a liquidity capture. And then if we see the market basically show us that it has really no demand below here, then we can look for another opportunity to let this thing run. Otherwise, there's nothing. We don't necessarily need to keep trading NASDAQ or anything like that. Dow bleeding, man. Dow has a pretty good zone though too. So what could work in conjunction with this is this. So we see this huge sell-off before it rallied. Right around here. It could be decent. I'm not going to take Dow since Dow's been what's been selling off the most aggressively. But we will be looking at how this plays out of here. So I'll have an alert here. If you can't see the idea, basically this is the concept. Back in June 25th here, see a huge sell-off before the market rallied. We can actually zoom in a little bit more too, right there. And then you can kind of see what that looks like. So you see the market's kind of chopping up, and then it takes a huge spike right there, and then the market goes off. So playing out of the zone, yeah, it makes sense. And then that can align with other things here in the market. So let's go to the present. Here we go. Look at that. Just like that. Clears the lows. All right. So now we clear these lows right there. Perfect. Look at that. It's eating this up. So capture liquidity first. And we got a decent rejection here too. So this was about a 50-point reversal earlier when we were seeing NQ over here. I wonder if I just like drew this out wrong or something. And that would have followed our mitigation rule. Sell off. Hold on. No, not really. I mean, the market sold off pretty aggressively for... Nah, this is just a... Honestly, it's an L I would take again. I'm not too. I'm cool with this one. All right, cool. So check us out, guys. Right now, we're seeing a classic. So, market clears out higher levels of liquidity. Excuse me. Got the hiccups. So we see the market sweep, immediately come back up. Now, if you see how we're kind of doing the typical, break and retest, blah, blah, blah. So if we can hold up some demand here, if price can trade up here, can hold it down, we can see more proof, or even if it goes higher, then we can look for longing NASDAQ again and trading into whatever. So that's what I'm curious about. There's a possibility. There's no guarantee. And what you definitely want to make sure you're doing is you're not just chasing, oh, I took a loss on NASDAQ, I got to get it back. Look, you got to get nothing back. There's no rush. NASDAQ doesn't owe you anything. That's it. It's cool. It's gravy. Now to follow up on NZD, we got pretty good price action. So we definitely spiked up and came back down. Now we're coming up a little bit again. Not a big deal. So what is this? Why is this a good thing? Well, this definitely rebalances and then comes down. I like that. I like that we played out of this order block. In my opinion, this is good. I'm gonna move my stop into profit now. So I'm moving my stop into here with NZD with 6N and New Zealand futures. If you're trading CFDs, then whatever NZD USD. And then now we have this trade, and worst case scenario, I get 0.3R in profit with this. Best case scenario, something else. 2 and change. 2.48 is kind of where I'm looking at here. All right, so check this out. We got the quick spike down. I wonder if this is going to be enough. So what I would do here, and same thing, let's see if we can get more demand. Looks like, look at this. NQ, remember, liquidity capture. And right now, basically, I want proof that there's going to be bullish demand, that the market wants to trade at these higher prices versus these prices down here. If we get that, then the market can run. So remember, psychologically and through liquidity, the market has now cleared out tons of money. And this is NASDAQ. You know what I didn't do, guys? I didn't take into consideration S&P. And that was the downside. Wow. I don't know why I just didn't. I'm so used to not looking at S&P, but that's why we lost this trade. We didn't have to lose this trade. Look at this. S&P respected. S&P was the trade. We would have survived that push down. We would have taken the trade somewhere in here. Dang. Rookie mistake. The original bounce was better on S&P. Here was the sell-off. Right here. Clear. The market needed to get into imbalance. Unfortunate. I just forgot. I just literally forgot. Part of the strategy is check correlations. Unfortunate. Well, it is what it is. So now in the present, we are seeing more demand at these levels. Okay. Whether it's Dow, NQ, or S&P. S&P now looks like it's going for that mitigation, that extension. Did anyone happen to take S&P? Maybe you were just more diligent than I was. Last second. NQ buy at 26.37. My exit on NZD and made up for the loss on NAS. Nice. In S&P. Nice, Mateo. So would you still take it? No, it's a little too high now for me. If anything, this is now mitigating. So it's playing out pretty well. Yeah. What would be awesome is if we really get some more bullish confirmation and we get up here. So, like, let's say, for example, Nasdaq starting to take the lead on the run. So if we get Nasdaq giving us higher high on the 1 minute and we can just really create some structure up here, then I'd be down for a buy right here in this area and let this thing rip. I think that we will get an extremely bullish day today. If we get this, then I think we just basically run for a bit. And if anything, this maybe it happens and we don't get an entry even. And if that's the case, that's cool. It is what it is. Squeezing right now. Either this is going to help push aggressively or it's going to come right back up with NCD. And remember, we make decisions based off of probabilities and options. So, yeah, I'm all set with this. And remember, technical analysis that we use, you can apply this to anything, whether you're trading CFDs, you're trading stocks, cryptos, options. I'd say with options, it's a little bit more complex because you have to add a little bit more elements to it rather than just your entry. Like there's more that goes to it. So I do think of all of the trading approaches, I feel like options has just the most nuance to it. You could do everything right minus one thing and then just like not make money. So yeah, not my biggest focus. But yeah, anyways, NZD, my exit is at 0.58995. Honestly, 0.59. And then, so that's my exit here. Stops in profit. We have, so today to wrap up, we took 2.5R in profit on Dow Jones. We are actively 1.15R on NZD, with also targeting a 2.5 on that as well. And then at the moment, NASDAQ, I took a 1RL. So that puts us at right now sitting at around like 2.5R positive on the day, with potential of taking a NASDAQ, maybe a Dow buy. Well, we'll see. It looks like NASDAQ though. NASDAQ longs. But we do need more structure. We need to see bullish demand before we take a buy right there. So, yeah. Leave it at that, guys. Worst case scenario, let's say NZD comes back up. Then this ends up just being a 0.3R win. And that puts us at the day at like a 1.8R, which is still solid. I wouldn't be mad about it. All right. I'm in NQ buys. I entered about 5 minutes ago. Sick. Yeah. Stop at on NQ. Oh, this is earlier, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's what it was. What was I going to say? Yeah, guys, I mean, we had an awesome week. We traded FOMC live together. We were live here every day. Yeah, we had an awesome week. I mean, tons of you guys got funded. Some of you guys getting withdrawals. Share your wins. Share your wins in the community. We want to see them. I saw Corey, you were going crazy. Edwin got funded for the first time ever. Let's see here. Had a nice little. This is just one of the trades, but we had this one running. I forgot what day this was. Oh yeah, it was earlier in the week. We're up on the lives here. Had a pretty, doing all right. And then, yeah, Leon, you had a nice one. You had like almost like a 4K trade today on that day, right? Yeah, dude, killing it. Awesome. Well, guys, for those of you that are very much locked in with your trading and you're looking to do this as a profession, like stay the course, keep practicing, keep putting in the work. You guys know I like to give as much free as possible. Like there's really no gatekeeping. The only thing that we do have is our syndicate, which is our private, mentorship, which is focused on psychology, financials, technical system building. That's more of an implementation program. Like I said, you guys can definitely do this all, learn it all for free. I 100% believe that. This is more so like, you're getting active, like hands-on work every day, live trainings, interactive. If that is you, then either click the link here when you're in the Tradetopia exchange to do a call, see if it's right for you. We want to make sure it also makes sense for you financially. Otherwise, you can also check it out in here as well. So, but again, this is only if you're in the right place financially. What I don't want are people that are going to be operating at a scarcity because they join it. But that's it. Me dicen, solo falta un poco más en español. Bro, solo soy un humano. Are you live on Twitch? So let me ask you, what's like the difference? I've never been a Twitch person, but like what's like YouTube, Twitch? What's the vibe? Like why be live? Should I just be live on both? And how come? Like I know Twitch is like it's massive, but is like there's the experience difference? Like what's the thing there? Oh, what's up, Nancy Pasantes? Much love, Mike. Thank you. Of course, guys. Of course. What was that alert? NQ. Q. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're up here. Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up. I just want to see so many ads on what I turned off the ads on my stream. There should be no ads on these streams. Or are you saying ads on Twitch? Yeah. Also, guys, remember, we are doing our trading retreat. If you're not checking that out, you're missing out. It's going to be lit. Colombia's going to go crazy. So we do have the retreat in Colombia. Make sure you check it out. We have a 5-day where we'll be trading live together, doing boat tours, fortresses, just hanging out, vibing. So if you guys want to join us on that, we have a fully curated experience for you guys. So check it out. It's a vibe. I know some of you are going, so I'll see you guys there. That is later. But any details you guys just want about us and then, our merch and everything, go ahead and check it out at tradetopia.store. But guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Document, journal, be a professional. Approach this with detail, with thoroughness, and I'll see you guys on the inside. And then, yeah, stay in tune. I think this NQ play can be a good one. All right, guys. Peace.